Hi everybody, it is good to be back here once again talking to you all about books for grades 4 through 12. I am recording today in the basement, which is our teen tween area at the Grandview Heights Public Library, and so we'll be talking first about books for grades 4 through 6, and then we will talk a little bit about books for grades 7 through 12. I'm going to start off today with a Newbery winner, actually. This is called The Girl Who Drank the Moon. It's a really great fantasy novel. It's set in a town where there's a witch, and everyone in the town thinks that the witch needs to have a baby sacrificed every year in order to keep the witch from terrorizing the town. And the thing that they don't know is that the witch is actually really nice and actually takes the babies and takes care of them, feeds them starlight, and takes them across to the other side of the forest to find them happy homes to live in. And so one year, the main character is the baby that's chosen, but the witch accidentally feeds her moonlight instead of starlight. She realizes this is kind of a big deal, and so she decides that she's going to raise the baby herself. So she does that, and when the baby is almost 13 years old, she starts to gain her magical powers, and they're actually pretty dangerous. And she has to sort of figure out how to control them, and all of these different things kind of start to happen and come into place all at one time. It's a little bit disastrous just to figure out her way out of them. So again, this is a Newbery winner, and also has just been really an excellent book. People have really liked this book. This is a mystery that I just finished, and I loved it so much that I told Miss Rachel, I said, please, please, please do me a personal favor and read this book because I think you'll really like it. It's a really good classic mystery. I think it's set in the United States or maybe Canada. They don't really say. It's in this really remote area, and the main character, Milo, his parents run an inn. And the inn is a really popular place for smugglers to come to. So one winter, the inn, it's almost Christmas, and the inn is usually pretty empty at that time because the weather is so bad where they live in the winter. But all of a sudden there's all of these people coming to the inn to stay, and they are very surprised, and they don't really understand why. So all of these different mysteries sort of pop up, and they figure out there's a thief in their midst, and just because they're smugglers doesn't mean they're thieves, right? So this is kind of a surprise to them, and they have to figure out what is happening. Is it connected? If it's connected, how is it connected? This is the first book in a series. There are 4 books in the series. The 4th one just came out, and it is... But this book, I read it and I really loved it as a standalone novel. So if you just really want a good cozy mystery, this would be a good choice. And you can just read this one. There's no cliffhanger. But if you love it, you can read the rest too. All right, and this one, we just have the audio book but you can get this in print as well. And this is actually, this is Neil deGrasse Tyson's Young Readers edition of Astrophysics for People in a Hurry. So this is called Astrophysics for Young People in a Hurry. Some of you may be already aware of the adult book that he put out a couple of years ago. So this one is, and he actually, one of my favorite things about this is that it's narrated by LeVar Burton. So I feel like it's great to read because Neil deGrasse Tyson is so great, and it's great to read because if you listen to it, because LeVar Burton narrates it. So for those of you who don't know, he's the person behind Reading Rainbow. Yes, wonderful narrator. So that's a good nonfiction book to check out. More from our high interest nonfiction section for grades 4 through 6. We have this book is a new book called More Than a Game, Race, Gender, and Politics in Sports. And you can see there's Billie Jean King on the cover and Colin Kaepernick. And so there's a lot going on in the world right now. This may be of interest to folks. It's a quick read. It's not long. It's really interesting. and it's sort of a good primer about what's been going on for decades and decades. You can see Jesse Owens is in there. You know, old history, new history. It's good. It's good stuff. Moving on to our books for grades 7 through 12. Actually, so this is the first fiction book that I picked out. It won the National Book Award, and you know I keep mentioning all of these awards that that all of these books won, and I don't actually pick them because they've won awards, but they happen to be really, really good. I think they're really, really good books, and it just so happens that a lot of people agreed with me, so it won an award. But this one won the National Book Award for Young People's Literature, and it's actually written by Sherman Alexie, who is a pretty well-known adult author. This was, I believe, his first young adult novel. And it's called The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian. So the main character lives on the Spokane Reservation in Washington, and decides that he would like to go to school off of the reservation to get a better education. And so he goes there, which is why he's called a part-time Indian. He calls himself a part-time Indian. And he says that the only other Indian person at his school is the mascot. So, you know, it's I don't know, not the most diverse area. And so for him to be coming from this reservation, he gets teased a lot. But the thing is that, because you see me saying that he's teased a lot and smiling, this book is really funny. It's really funny. He's very realistic about the things that are happening, and he's also the main character is a comic. He draws comics. So interspersed in the text, you'll see lots of illustrations, and they're really funny. I will warn you though that this book has a lot of swear words in it. So if you or your parents if swear words are not going to work for you, I would avoid this book. But if you're okay with them, and a little bit of a mature book, just a little bit of a mature book, then I would definitely recommend it because it's hilarious and really good beyond just being funny. This book is this is The Raven Boys. It's the first book in the Raven cycle, which is a 4-book series. All of those books are out, and it's written by Maggie Stiefvater, and she is her more recent books are some of my favorite books in the whole teen section. This section it revolves mostly around the main character Blue, and then she lives in Virginia, in an area where there's a private school, an all-boys private school, and she meets some boys from this all-boys private school, and they sort of she lives with her mother and other female relatives, and they're all in a house, and they're all psychics. They all have some kind of psychic ability. Blue, the main character, does not. And so that's kind of weird for her, and strange, but she's still, you know, wrapped up in all of it, because she lives in that house with them. And so she meets Gansey and finds out that he's predicted to die. The spirits have said he's going to die within the first year. So this trilogy, so that's how this starts, but she can't tell him that, of course. This series is it draws from a lot of Welsh history, the Welsh King Glendower, and it's really kind of fascinating, and it made me really curious about other parts of Welsh history. I really didn't know hardly anything about that. So it's a good fantasy series, lots of paranormal activity, and yeah, I do recommend this. All right, going on to some nonfiction. We have Blood, Bullets, and Bones, the story of forensic science from Sherlock Holmes to DNA. So, forensic science, this book is really for the folks who are into true crime, or, you know, fake crime, if you like CSI or any of those kinds of shows. So it is, it actually goes back, forensic science actually started way back in ancient China. So it's been going on for a really, really long time, not just since, you know, DNA testing came about relatively recently. So this is a book that talks all about forensic science and its history. It's really interesting. It talks about some specific cases, and yeah, it's nonfiction. So whether you're interested in becoming a forensic detective, or whether you just are interested in crime or true crime, this is a good book to check out. And then the last one, since this is the last Thursday of June, and June being Pride Month, I have this book, Pride. It actually is the second edition. It just came out. The first one here was, well loved, and I was about to replace it, and I was happy to see that this new edition was coming out. So, because things change pretty rapidly. It's basically, it's sort of it's a history book, but it's very readable. It's very interesting. There's a lot of history in here. It talks a lot about North America, including Canada, but it also talks about pride in other areas of the world. So just sort of a nice read for people for June, which is of course Pride Month. All right, that actually wraps it up for me for today. Give us a call during our curbside pickup hours if you would like book recommendations, or you can email us through the website. We love to recommend books to people. And you can also check out our website, which we've got book lists on there if you would like some more recommendations. So, all right, I will see you next Thursday at 2 o'clock for more books. Have a good day.